Bonjour, ici Charles Gauthier de Développement économique Saint-Laurent. Nous allons débuter notre webinaire dans 2 minutes. Bonjour à tous, ici Charles Gauthier de Développement économique Saint-Laurent de la division Export Montréal-Ouest. Nous sommes très heureux de vous accueillir à cette nouvelle édition de la série Midi Export où nous allons consacrer la prochaine heure au marché de l'Allemagne, donc plus précisément les exportations du Québec vers l'Allemagne. Alors, le déroulement du webinaire aujourd'hui, nous aurons une présentation de 30 minutes par nos conférenciers. Nous conclurons avec une période de questions de 15 minutes à la fin de la présentation. Alors, pour ces questions, nous vous demandons de produire vos questions en cliquant sur la section Q&A dans le bas de vos écrans. Ainsi, nous pourrons partager vos questions avec tous et nous allons y répondre de la meilleure façon. Je vous rappelle également que vous recevrez dans les prochains jours, après la présentation d'aujourd'hui, la version PDF de cette présentation. Également, le webinaire sera disponible sur notre canal YouTube dans son intégralité. Alors, un rappel sur Développement économique Saint-Laurent qui offre des services conseils en développement des entreprises, encourage l'innovation et favorise le virage numérique auprès des entreprises manufacturières. L'écosystème de Saint-Laurent comprend notamment, et je le rappelle, le plus important bassin d'entreprises manufacturières du Québec. Pour ça, pour soutenir ces entreprises manufacturières et de les accompagner dans leur virage numérique, Nous avons créé cet automne le Centre d'expertise industrielle de Montréal, qui est voué à l'implantation des technologies numériques de l'industrie 4.0 auprès de ces mêmes entreprises manufacturières, c'est-à-dire l'implantation des technologies de robotique et d'automatisation notamment. Alors, nous sommes heureux de vous accueillir aujourd'hui. Notre équipe de développement de Export Montréal-Ouest est composée de 3 personnes, donc ma collègue commissaire en développement économique, Lydia Capelli, notre nouveau chargé de projet qui s'est joint à nous il y a quelques mois, Mathieu Garafini, ainsi que moi, donc commissaire en développement économique, et nous sommes donc entièrement dédiés à l'accompagnement des entreprises exportatrices du territoire de l'Ouest de Montréal. Alors, les principaux points couverts aujourd'hui, nous allons traiter des relations Canada-Allemagne. Nous allons évidemment évoquer les échanges commerciaux entre nos deux pays. Nous allons évoquer les secteurs d'activité clés. Nous allons également nous pencher sur l'environnement des affaires en Allemagne, les aspects culturels qui sont vraiment à considérer sur ce territoire. Et nous allons bénéficier pour ça d'une entreprise à succès qui rencontre donc beaucoup de succès sur ce territoire en Allemagne. Et nous allons conclure avec des aspects financiers, plus spécifiquement financiers, de la part de Desjardins Entreprises. Alors, je débute tout de suite. Alors, on rappelle qu'évidemment, l'Allemagne, on retrouve la capitale de l'Allemagne à Berlin. La population totale du pays est d'environ 83 millions de personnes. Le taux de croissance croissance économique en 2020 a connu évidemment une chute importante due à la pandémie en cours, une chute d'environ moins 5 % et on prévoit une accélération de la croissance cette année, une reprise importante de 3 %. Le niveau, on prévoit un retour des activités économiques d'avant COVID dès le deuxième trimestre ou semestre, pardon, de 2021. Le taux de chômage est somme toute assez élevé, à près de 6 % et le pays a présenté cette année plutôt un très important et très substantiel plan de relance économique avec un financement de 130 milliards d'euros. Alors, le revenu brut par habitant était de 55 000 $ en 2018. Alors, la première relation entre le Québec et plus précisément le Québec et l'Allemagne a débuté de façon officielle par l'ouverture des délégations du Québec à Berlin et à Munich en 1971. Les deux partenaires, il faut le souligner, donc nos deux pays partenaires sont membres des organismes suivants, donc de l'accord économique et commercial global. Également, nous sommes membres de part et d'autre de l'accord entre le gouvernement du Canada et le gouvernement de la République fédérale d'Allemagne relatif à la coopération scientifique et technique. Alors, l'accord AECG, cet accord donc offre aux entreprises, et c'est vraiment important de le souligner, offre aux entreprises un accès privilégié au marché européen en éliminant les obstacles commerciaux internationaux. Donc, à terme, 98 % des barrières tarifaires seront abolies au niveau des droits de douane. Donc, c'est vraiment à souligner. Les barrières tarifaires également seront simplifiées. Les formalités douanières seront simplifiées. On assistera à une diminution des délais de traitement de toute la documentation douanière et nous assisterons à une élimination progressive des règles de conformité discriminatoire. Cet accord bilatéral relatif à la coopération scientifique et technique donc permet aux deux pays de concrétiser leur souhait de renforcer leurs relations grâce à la signature de cet accord depuis 1971. Depuis sa mise en route, ce partenariat a permis la réalisation de plus de 1000 projets de recherche communs entre nos deux pays. Les échanges commerciaux entre le Canada et entre le Québec et l'Allemagne. Donc, les exportations, je dis bien les exportations canadiennes, représentaient plus de 6 milliards de dollars en 2019. Les importations allemandes vers le Canada représentaient 19 milliards. Les investissements directs étrangers canadiens représentaient plus de 11 milliards, toujours en 2019 en Allemagne. Et les investissements allemands représentaient 19 milliards au Canada. Les principaux secteurs d'exportation canadienne qu'il faut souligner entre nos deux pays, donc vers l'Allemagne, plus de 242 millions de dollars en minerais et résidus. À montant égal, les secteurs papier-carton et les sucres pour environ 44, près de 50 millions de dollars chacun. Le secteur le plus important et de loin, c'est le secteur de l'aérospatial où les exportations canadiennes vers l'Allemagne donc ont plus de 400 millions de dollars. Des secteurs d'activité clés en Allemagne, évidemment, on peut souligner l'aérospatial, le secteur agricole, les bières et fruits de mer, le secteur automobile et la foresterie et les produits du bois. Alors, un rappel, pourquoi il est tellement important et stratégique d'exporter vers l'Allemagne? Bien, évidemment, soulignons en premier lieu l'emplacement géographique stratégique de ce pays qui peut servir de point d'accès à tout le marché européen. Les données démographiques très avantageuses, avec 83 millions d'habitants, le marché allemand est le plus important de l'Union européenne. Le revenu par tête est l'un des plus élevés au monde. Les dépenses de consommation finale des ménages allemands est de 30 supérieure aux autres pays de l'Union européenne. La main-d'œuvre qualifiée est importante dans des secteurs clés. Également, on le rappelle, de la puissance économique européenne qui est combinée à la stabilité politique incite les investissements directs à l'étranger. Donc, l'Allemagne est le deuxième plus important marché exportateur après les États-Unis. Également, et en dernier lieu, la réglementation facilite les relations entre le Canada et l'Allemagne par une volonté mutuelle de collaborer et de mettre à zéro et d'éliminer finalement les barrières commerciales entre nos deux pays. Quelques indicateurs à considérer afin d'analyser l'environnement des affaires en Allemagne. Donc, nous allons souligner les indices de Doing Business de la Banque mondiale. Nous allons rappeler l'indice de perception de la corruption. Également, nous allons évoquer les indicateurs du risque politique de la POFACE. Alors, l'indicateur Doing Business analyse les petites et moyennes entreprises au niveau national et mesure la réglementation s'appliquant à celles-ci tout au long de leur cycle de vie. Le Doing Business évalue la réglementation selon plusieurs volets, par exemple l'obtention d'un permis de conduire, l'obtention d'un prêt, le transfert de propriété, etc. Le classement Doing Business détermine ainsi la facilité à faire des affaires dans un pays en question. En 2020, donc, l'Allemagne se classait au 22e rang mondial, donc au niveau de la facilité à faire des affaires, donc au niveau mondial. Donc, il se situe dans le top 25, c'est important à souligner. Les pays voisins se situent un petit peu plus loin dans cette échelle, dans cet indice. L'Autriche est au 27e rang, la France au 32e rang et la Suisse au 36e rang. Alors, l'indice de perception de la corruption évalue le niveau perçu de corruption dans le secteur public dans le pays donné sur la base d'appréciation d'experts et d'hommes d'affaires. Le pays, donc l'Allemagne, se situe dans le top 10 mondial, donc c'est vraiment un indice très remarquable. L'Allemagne se situe plus précisément au 9e rang sur 180 pays. Les pays voisins, la Suisse est au 4e rang, l'Autriche au 12e rang et la France au 23e rang mondial. Enfin, donc, l'indice COFACE analyse le risque politique qui est réalisé à partir de données macroéconomiques, financières et politiques et donne une estimation du risque de crédit moyen des entreprises dans un pays donné. C'est un outil précieux qui indique l'influence potentielle d'un pays sur l'engagement financier d'une entreprise. L'Allemagne se situe au niveau A3, donc qui est tout à fait remarquable. L'indice A3, donc, de croissance d'évaluation du risque. L'Allemagne, il faut souligner, donc, l'Allemagne, donc, on rappelle, le pays est un pays à revenus élevés où l'environnement des affaires est très favorable. Cependant, les aspects culturels sont à considérer. Si vous voulez et comptez mener à bien vos projets d'exportation sur ce pays. La culture des affaires d'Allemagne est marquée par l'organisation et la planification et le perfectionnisme. Les relations commerciales sont très formelles. Elles reflètent les valeurs allemandes qui sont l'ordre, la confidentialité et la ponctualité. Alors là, la ponctualité, on le rappelle, est un élément important dans le monde des affaires en Allemagne. Il faut prévoir à chaque rendez-vous, il faut prévoir arriver au moins 15 minutes à l'avance. Un premier contact d'affaires, donc il est préférable d'être introduit via une tierce personne auprès de l'entreprise que vous visez. Donc, une tierce personne peut, par exemple, comprendre un banquier, un représentant ou une chambre de commerce. La politique des cadeaux. Alors, on évite les cadeaux lors des réunions de travail, mais on peut penser à faire des cadeaux lors de la conclusion des négociations ou lors de la signature d'un contrat avec votre client. Les relations, les salutations, donc, sont très formelles au niveau affaires. En Allemagne, il faut serrer, on recommande de serrer fermement la main avec votre interlocuteur en gardant le contact visuel. Alors, nous sommes heureux aujourd'hui de pouvoir bénéficier de l'expérience sur le terrain en Allemagne d'une entreprise de Saint-Laurent qui remporte beaucoup de succès à l'échelle internationale. Nous allons accueillir M. Parsa Family, président de Novatek International, qui est présente depuis plusieurs années sur le marché allemand. Depuis 1996, M. Family, donc, qui a fondé l'entreprise, propose des technologies de pointe dans le secteur médical. Alors, je vous laisse la parole par ça. Et puis, la présentation de M. Family sera, il faut le souligner, sera présentée en langue anglaise.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Economic Development of the Saint-Laurent, for inviting me to share a little bit about our story and specifically our export activities around the world and specifically in Germany. We have grown substantially since our debut in 1996. We have Novatek International, where we provide software solutions to pharma, biotech, medical devices. We have Novatek Medical Data System, where we work in hospitals and institutions. And specifically, recently, in response to COVID-19, we developed a hygiene monitoring and disease control system to help hospitals or entities monitor the dispersion of microorganisms in various institutions or hospitals or elderly care facilities. We also work in mental health, rapid assessment and detection of mild cognitive impairment, the onsets of dementia, Alzheimer. In another division, we work in ideation and innovation management software. We have a platform that large corporations can provide ideas and collaborate and share ideas and improve R&Ds, whether it's internal or external collaboration. Based on a number of years that we work in pharma industry, they also ask us if we can introduce them for various materials. So we help introduce companies to each other. And last but not least, we have a charity where we raise awareness on mental health. And we encourage people to talk about mental health and seek help as soon as possible. Next, if you please. As you can see, our experience has been with very large corporations around the world. And it's important to understand that when you work around the world, there are many different cultural aspects, many different work ethics, many different fashions that you have to work and help companies. We work from big pharmas to medical devices to aseptic operation, non-aseptic operations, consumable product, consumers product. So we have had an experience from everywhere, and those are some of the points that we'll be sharing with you. Next, if you please. Our vision from the beginning has been to export. We have more than 95% of our product being exported outside Quebec and Canada. We have about 2% of our sales in Quebec, 3% the rest of Canada, and the rest around the world. About 50% in US, about 27% in Europe, out of which 12% is in Germany and German speaking, and the rest, about 18%, is in Asia, Australia, and Africa. We have sought help from a number of organizations. There are a number of organizations in Quebec and Canada, like Export Quebec and Export Canada, can assist corporations in exporting to different areas among the economic development that has put this webinar together. Next, if you please. Research and development have been our growth contributor. We have been able to grow about 13% year after year since our inception. And this growth has been, one, for exporting our material, second, our software and knowledge, second, by adding new products and updates to existing products. What that means is not only new products open new doors, but also you can upsell to new clients. And as you know, upselling is the easiest process when you already have a client that relates to you, understand your support, understand your products, and you're an approved supplier. So not only a one-time investment increases, but also a long-term service and maintenance agreements, or what we call recurring revenues, increases as well. We have been also fortunate to be a regional Mercador award winner again for export, and number of other awards for innovations throughout our existence. Next, if you please. Adequate advertisement, reputation of the company, and the company representatives are factors in getting large contracts. What you advertise, what your brand is, will help in getting new clients and specifically capturing market shares. As you know, product, people, price, and placement still holds. Next, if you please. Well, Government of Canada have a great program administered by Innovation Canada. It used to be BCIP, Building Canada Innovation Program, that allows showcasing of your innovation in one of the government facilities. So your clients can come and visit you and visit your product, your innovation, in a real setting and real environment, and provide you feedback, and to allow you to grow and invite people to come and use the same sort of technologies. Government of Quebec has also a similar project through Ministère de l'Économie et Innovation, which assists in innovation. However, a little difference is that if you work with Innovation Quebec, you also may have access, if you're working in healthcare technologies, you may have some assistance in registering in RAMQ, Régie d'assurance maladie de Québec. As you know, there are lots of red tapes. The more you get assistance, the easier it would become at some time frame to be registered for RAMQ and reimbursed for your innovation. And as I brought to your attention, recently we developed, in response to COVID-19 with help of IRAP, a system for hospitals and elderly care. Next, if you please. There are several loans and grants programs in Quebec and Canada that can assist corporations do product development and innovation. SHRED, which is the tax benefits from Government of Quebec and Government of Canada, IRAP, CNRC, RVI, robotic vision, for if you're working in high technology and robotics. MyTax and NSERC is collaboration with universities and assist you to get access to professors with good knowledge of specific fields. You have MEDTech Plus and MedTech. The difference is MEDTech Plus is a dual federal and provincial innovation grants that assist you in innovation, and MedTech is a Medical Technology Association of Canada. So all these various entities assist you to do innovation so you can export to various countries. Next, if you please. So our story for Germany started in 2003. At that time, we took a direct flight from Montreal to Frankfurt. And as you can see, I looked a little bit different than what I do now. So rent a car. I had a bit of good luck because my first car was a gear shift, because I went there and took a car. and most cars were gear shift. So I took a rental car from Darmstadt, from Frankfurt to Darmstadt, and I was introduced to Autobahn, where you can drive as fast as you like, as long as your car is good enough to do that. So we arrived in Darmstadt. We had a number of discussions throughout that years, and then we signed an agreement in 2004. Well, as you can see, you can't expect to just go somewhere and shake hand and somebody does business with you. You have to go back and forth. You have to do a number of visits, and so they can understand your products, your services, and relate to you so you can do business. So our collaboration were in research and development, in cross-selling of some products that we are complementary. They have equipments and we have software, so together we can provide a much better total solution for our clients, and cross-marketing, so that clients can understand the total cost reduction or total benefit of this collaboration. Next, if you please. So our project started in 2005. The first R&D project was on lateral flow readers. For those who are not familiar with lateral flow readers, one of the best examples is the pregnancy test, where you put a drop on this lateral flow and it travels on a thin layer chromatography and binds to an antibody, which is gold plated. So antigen binds to antibody and it glows. So because during pregnancy, the hormones is abundant, well, you can clearly see if there is a pregnancy or not. However, in different areas, like food industry, lateral devices are also used substantially. In E. coli, in Listeria, in Salmonella, all type of microorganisms are detected. However, the amount or the concentration of microorganisms is quite low. So when you put a drop of microorganism and it travels to thin layer chromatography, the bandwidth is very low. So you really can't definitely with just a naked eye determine if there is a that band or not. So what we developed was real-time imaging solutions that, using the different wavelengths, would determine if there is a concentration and what is the concentration. So that was some of the work we did. Later on, the technology changed, the fluorescent technology and other technology came in. So we finished that collaboration in 2010. Next, if you please. Well, during our collaboration, some of you may remember Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana, and there was vast devastation in Louisiana. And so we decided, with collaboration with Merck, to do fundraising to assist those in need. So that also brought us a lot closer to Merck and to our clientele, because they knew that we are not just about making money, we're also about helping others while we are doing business wherever we can. Next, if you please. So we had another project with Merck where we have complementary product. We have software solutions that for aseptic manufacturing or vaccine manufacturing. What we do in the environment that you produce the vaccine has to be of certain kind. Because when you inject somebody, you bypass all their defense mechanisms. You know, your defense mechanism is your stomach, your intestine. So the high acidity will kill most of microorganisms, and most foods will not have any effect on you. But if you inject somebody, well, you bypass those defense mechanisms. And it's very important that when the vial is manufactured, or the ampoules or any aseptic processes, the environment is clean, because you cannot test every single vial to see if there is a microorganism in it or not. So they use our systems to detect if there is any anomaly within the environment that manufacturing is done, and they use Merck's air samplers to verify the air in that environment. So our collaboration brings substantial benefit to our global clients. Next, if you please. So lesson learned. Pre-COVID, there were a number of flights to Germany And getting to Germany is direct flight specifically from Montreal or through Toronto. You can go to Munich, Frankfurt, Dusseldorf, Berlin, or Hamburg. There are various cities that, depending on where you like to visit your clients. Presentations can be English. Decision makings can be done in Germany if the headquarters are in Germany. However, you need to have German-speaking distributors and representatives. It's respect to the culture and respect to people that you're trying to do business. When you're doing the software training, has to be in English and German. And technical documentation can be in English, however, German is preferred. You have to know that marketing, customer instructions, labels have to be in German and English. As I brought to attention, most cars in Europe are manual gear shift. It's not like here in US where you go to any car rental as soon as you get to somewhere and get the car and start going. If you're more comfortable with automated gear shifts, it's better to reserve your car in advance and make sure that it's an automatic gear shift. Next, if you please. So another project, we had to go to Time Morgan. We flew to Berlin, and we had an option of car, bus, or train. There are a number of ways to get to your clients. My client was in Wienenberg, in Germany. By car, it was 2 hours. By bus, is about 5-6 hours, and train the same way, depending on how much time you have on your hand. Well, there's different pricing and different processes. So I have a question that's asking, how do we handle the German translations? We either work with translators in Canada or in Europe, depending on the different projects. So it depends on the cost. And sometimes it's important, and when you work with German client, sometimes use the German facilities or translators, because specifically if you're using technical word, like, you know, in the same way in French of us and French of Quebec is different, and some French of Quebec and French of France is different, and some technical words are different. It's the same in Germany, that you need colleagues that are here that speaking German have to be native German speaking. Now, decision making, when back to the story, when we were in Time Morgan, we realized after the discussions that headquarters is actually not in Germany, but in Portugal. So we had to go back. We had to do additional discussions in the headquarters near Lisbon and provide ROI and standardization benefits for all European plants. So after discussions, we were able to convince them that it's important to have standardized operations so they can see various operations and do best practices from one site to another. So we started with 2 sites in Germany and Portugal, and that expanded to different locations. We had to hire a German-speaking local trainer that would train our client representatives. As you know, usually the upper managements are quite comfortable in various level of upper management. They speak English, but the operators may not be speaking English or French, so it's better to have the local trainer. So we enhanced our collaboration with Time Morgan, and there was an additional site in US, and now we're working 2 other sites in US and Italy. Next, if you please. So the lesson learned from that collaboration was that the decision making is not always in Germany. Mostly the decision making is done in headquarters of any large multinationals. You need to have standardized pricing. One thing I can bring to your attention, when you take a bottle of soda can, I don't know, Coke, Pepsi, whatever you like, you buy it from your grocery store, well, it's $1. You go to US, it's $1 US. You go to Europe, it's €1. Even though you think you're ripped off when you go from Montreal to I don't know, Berlin. But the thing is that that's cost of living. So you have to understand the cost of living in various countries that you're working with. So you have to demonstrate return on investment based on the European standards, not North American standards. Another point that's important, that German-speaking market, your products and services not only can be used in Germany, but in Austria and Switzerland. What is also not very known to a lot of people is that Belgium has about 2.5 million people that speak German as a second language, and Luxembourg about 600,000. So this will benefit other countries as well. Now, working with multinationals, one of the important things, if you like to work with them, you have to be able to serve several European countries in several European languages, even though you may start with Germany or France or anywhere else, but you have to know that if this is a multinational, you have to be able to serve them in various languages. Now, another side note, German and inter-European trains and airplanes are relatively cheap. Before COVID, now there are not as many flights going anywhere, but hopefully with the increase in vaccination, a lot of things will go back to normal, and you can, when you visit, you can take trains or planes or cars that is relatively cheap and lots of schedules to get to where you like to go. Next, if you please. Another collaboration we had was another very large company in Germany. So in 2016, we took the flight to Frankfurt. First, we went and met Merck, because what we try to do is that during one visit to Germany, if it's 1 or 2 weeks, we try to do as many visits as we can, so we can increase our possibilities of some sort of a contract in the near future. So the more people we see, the more possibilities of collaboration. So we took the train from Frankfurt after to Boehringer, which is in Ingelheim. And we had to show number of, again, discussions, number of demonstrations. What we had to demonstrate substantially was vendor viability. When you want to work worldwide, this was a very large project with worldwide facilities of Boehringer, so we had to be able to demonstrate viability, capability to work and serve worldwide, and demonstrate that we have support worldwide. We have number of offices around the world, and we have number of distributors and local distributors that are first level of support. So we were easily able to demonstrate that. So what we also recommend to you is that to have local representatives and local distributors that can do first line support of your products and services. So being a large project, well, we had to go through a number of hoops. We had to do a project agreement. We had to accept global pricing agreement. When the larger the contract, the more you have to negotiate that will be viable for both companies. And also what is important, that German companies are very good in manufacturing. As you know, Germany is a manufacturing of the world. A lot of things being done in Germany. So they're very well aware of the pricing. So the pricing has to be reasonable. We had to do licensing agreement, service and maintenance agreement, data processing agreement, which is the, as you know, data protection, consumers data protection, and privacy acts that we had to ensure that our systems can abide by, and it does. And we had to do global rollout plan, which started in 2018. We had started with Ingelheim and Biberach, and then expanded to Austria, France, and recently we're working on US and Brazil. Next, if you please. Well, I think we missed one. We have to go back one. Oh, okay, there is one missing. Okay, and next, if you please. Now, there lesson learned. Germans are tough but fair negotiators. When you're negotiating with the German corporation, specifically for the large firm, we highly recommend that you not only have your Canadian lawyers, but German lawyers, so they understand the laws, so you get the best deal possible within the framework of your agreement. it's a hard work. It's lots of days and nights of not sleeping and trying to collaborate and negotiate and find the best win-win situation. So don't think that it's one day you go somewhere and you will get contracts. Maybe you get lucky, but as a process, you have to know there's lots of sleepless nights. You have to be persistent. You have to demonstrate your capability to assist client and able to support worldwide sites if you want to do large contract. Next one, if you please. So another important factor that happened, just like everyone else, COVID-19 happened and we had to change many of our processes. With restrictions in work from home and travel restrictions, well, we had to ensure first our staff were safe. So more than 90% of our staff works from home. The rest is just make sure that everybody else works properly. So we had to ensure that our staff has a adequate Wi-Fi at their home. We had to understand the processes will slow substantially because of the different time zones. So we had to manage properly, even though we have number of distributors and first line offices around the world, we still had communications. We had to manage a lot better. We had to develop new ways, remote installation, remote training, remote validation. For example, if you do a troubleshooting of a printer, well, you click the setting and you print. How do you click a setting on a printer that's 6,000 miles away? Normally we were at client sites and it's very easy. Within 15, 20 minutes, you can fix something. But now you have to rely on the corporation's IT department or other staff to give you time to allow you to fix. So something that may take 15 minutes now may take 2 days before they can assist you and do troubleshooting. So as you can see, you have to adapt. And even though it's longer, you have to adjust because in one way or another, you have to continue your business continuity. In terms of training, we normally used to go to a client site and do 3-4 days or 5 days of nonstop training. But because of time zones, now we had to change our process. Instead of 3, 4, 5 days, we had to do 10 morning sessions to allow to our do our process. And many of our sales activities now virtual. We do virtual webinars like the one that we're doing here, virtual conferences to market and sell product and services. Next, if you please. There are a number of pharma trade shows in Germany. Germany actually hosts a number of conferences. Now, again, because of COVID, not a lot of them are happening on site, but hopefully latter part of 2021 or 2022, there are a number of trade shows that we invite you to, you should participate. Those that relates to, just Google it and you'll find many different, these are some of the ones that we work on, specifically medical. We do Cognistat, which is cognitive impairment assessment, rapid assessment. We showcase it on medical and we have for our pharmaceuticals, biotechnical and other shows that you should find yours and participate because you will have lots of people that come and visit your booth and you have more leads for your processes. Next, if you please. So thank you for listening to me and thank you for allowing me to share some of my knowledge. I invite you, again, what we do, we help our communities that we work in. And we invite you to help any charity that you think merits your either support or donation or help those that are in need. Thank you again.
Arsa, thank you so much. I think we feel privileged that you've been able to share your long-term experience in Germany, where you've been present for almost 20 years. So I like to remind some of your key points here is that you need to think of long-term if you want to address some specific market, especially a sophisticated market like Germany. You need to be able to grow with your client, especially if you work with a multinational like Merck. You need to be able to grow on different sites, on different locations, not only in Europe, but also around the world. So that's an important point. And also, I'm happy that you learn how to drive stick shift car, and that we're able to buy to drive in very fast speed on the German autobahn. So that's something that I look forward to do one day. So thanks again, Parsa. Really appreciate your time that you're sharing with us today. Alors maintenant, nous allons passer le mot à notre commanditaire Desjardins Entreprises qui supporte la série Midi Export depuis le début. Donc, nous sommes très heureux donc de l'apport financier de notre commanditaire. Jean-Michel Lacroix devrait être parmi nous. Est-ce qu'il a réussi à se joindre à nous? Alors, je crois que Jean-Michel a un empêchement technique ou autre. Alors, écoutez, on va passer à travers 2 ou 3 des diapos du contenu prévu par Desjardins Entreprises, donc qui vont toucher spécialement sur le marché de l'Allemagne. Alors, évidemment, on rappelle les secteurs très capitaux, très stratégiques qui sont développés en Allemagne. Donc, on parle en général du secteur de l'énergie et de l'environnement, notamment la production solaire, le secteur éolien, la distribution électrique, la mobilité électrique et l'économie verte, notamment le recyclage qui est parmi les plus sophistiqués en Europe. Le secteur de la santé, évidemment, un secteur de pointe à rappeler, encore une fois. Tout le secteur bio, les nouveaux aliments, tout le secteur des soins et du fitness. Alors, également tout le secteur des soins, du digital health, je vous dirais. Alors, l'économie numérique est vraiment importante, tout le secteur des technologies, de l'information et capital en Allemagne, notamment le secteur 2.0, toute la robotisation et la numérisation des entreprises. Donc, des facteurs d'attractivité très importants en Allemagne, donc qui bénéficient d'une économie stable, mature et ouverte. Rappelons évidemment la taille du marché, donc le marché le plus important d'Europe. Le pays bénéficie de ressources humaines extrêmement qualifiées. La situation géographique donc, de l'Allemagne fait qu'elle bénéficie d'une position stratégique au centre de l'Europe. Elle bénéficie également en Allemagne de plateformes d'affaires très efficaces. L'Allemagne est réputée pour ses très importants salons professionnels dans tous les secteurs d'activité. Donc, de façon générale, les pratiques commerciales en Allemagne sont fiables. Évidemment, le pays est très dynamique et fait preuve d'innovation continue. Donc, les opportunités sont multiples et on peut bénéficier également donc, de chaînes d'approvisionnement très sophistiquées à travers le pays. Alors, un mot sur le système bancaire allemand, donc qui comprend 3 piliers, les banques commerciales privées, les banques du secteur public et les banques coopératives, comme par exemple Desjardins au Québec. Le système bancaire allemand se compose de près de 1800 banques, dont 200 banques privées, 400 banques publiques et plus de 1100 coopératives de crédit appartenant à leurs membres. Le nombre de banques en Allemagne a fortement diminué au cours des dernières années, puisqu'en 1995, il a diminué en fait de 52% depuis plus de 25 ans. Selon Midi, le système bancaire en Allemagne est très stable en raison de la résilience de l'économie et du faible taux de chômage du pays, qui aide les banques donc à maintenir leurs fondamentaux financiers très solides. Alors maintenant, nous allons passer à la période de questions. Je laisse la parole à mon collègue Samuel.
Oui, bonjour. Nous avons une question de Lydia adressée à Parsa. Parsa, how did you handle the German translations? Do you have an interpreter and translator? Are they from Canada or Germany? En français, comment vous gérez les traductions allemandes? Est-ce qu'elles sont liées à un interprète ou un traducteur, et est-ce que cette ressource est du Canada ou d'Allemagne? Merci.
We have used both, depending on what kind of material you're trying to translate. More technical manuals or documents, we send it to Germany, but there are also German-speaking or German nationals that now immigrated to Canada and speak fluently and understand the technical terms. So depending on the type of documents, you can do it either in Canada or in Germany.
Merci. Merci par ça. Lydia Capelli, donc, a une question. Donc, how does Novatek manage so many markets around the world? How do you structure the internal organization of your company? And do you have dedicated people on each market, especially in Germany?
We have a representative that solely works on the German speaking, not as I brought to attention, German speaking is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So we have a representative from our office in Montreal, and we also have a local representative in Germany near Mannheim that allows us to distribute or have a first line of support for German-speaking countries in a time zone that fits our clientele.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Parsha. Wait, yeah.
So for all other markets, the same thing. We have colleagues from Australia all the way to South America. We have offices in Mexico, in US, in Netherlands, in Germany, in France. So we have all of India, Philippines. So we have all over the world, different time zones for support and implementation. So make sure that we can provide either 24/7 support for those who have continuous operations, or 24/7 they call it, or they want to have it 9 to 5 in their time zones.
Mm-hmm. So that specifically that tech support in Germany, is it done remotely from Quebec, or you have local people?
We have first line of support locally in their language, and also we have secondary support when it's technical operation or information which our engineers are working with the other first line of support to assist our client or fix a bug or do additional training or whatever needs to be done for a client to be operational.
Wow. So your dedication to that German market is really spectacular, and congratulations for being able to grow on that very important strategic European market, and also being able to now to be present in over 50 countries internationally. So it's really, really impressive. And thanks again for your time today. We really appreciated that you were able to share all that information based on such a fantastic experience in Germany and internationally. I think it's the end of the Q&A, unless we have any other questions, Samuel. So again, je vais conclure aujourd'hui en remerciant à nouveau nos commanditaires Desjardins, entreprises. Monsieur Lacroix vient tout juste de m'aviser qu'il a dû s'absenter pour des raisons d'urgence médicale, donc nous souhaitons la meilleure des chances. Également, un mot de remerciement à EDC, qui supporte la série de webinaires Export Montréal-Ouest, les gouvernements du Québec et également le gouvernement du Canada, Développement économique Canada. Alors, je rappelle que Export Montréal-Ouest donc est un organisme sans but lucratif qui fait partie du réseau québécois des ORPEX. Nous offrons donc nos services d'accompagnement aux entreprises, non seulement de Saint-Laurent, mais de tout l'ouest de l'île, donc ça va jusqu'à Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue. Nous avons 2 types d'interventions, donc nous faisons de la formation et de la sensibilisation, mais également et surtout, je vous dirais que nous accompagnons de façon individuelle et nous fournissons des conseils personnalisés de façon individuelle aux entreprises qui s'adressent à nous pour tous leurs besoins de développement de marché hors Québec, mais également pour leur faciliter l'accès aux très nombreux programmes d'aide financière qui sont disponibles au niveau des gouvernements du Québec et du gouvernement du Canada. Alors, je rappelle que notre prochain webinaire sera tenu, et le dernier webinaire donc, de ce printemps sera tenu le mardi 15 juin. Nous pourrons bénéficier donc de la participation de Mme Regina de Amorin-Rey, qui est la PDG de la très réputée maison de mode de Marie-Saint-Pierre, qui est basée à Montréal. Donc, ce webinaire va porter spécifiquement sur le marché du secteur de la mode dans l'État de New York. J'aimerais donc remercier à nouveau tous nos participants. J'aimerais vous remercier à tous ceux qui se sont joints à nous également aujourd'hui. Un mot spécial de remerciement également à nos collègues de la direction des communications de Export Montréal-Ouest, en fait de Développement économique Saint-Laurent, sans qui la présentation des Midi Export ne serait pas possible. Donc, je voudrais souligner des remerciements spéciaux à Vanessa Joseph et à M. Samuel Urbain qui nous accompagnent depuis le début dans cette aventure. Alors, je vous remercie encore une fois de vous être joints à nous et puis au plaisir de vous accueillir à nouveau le 15 juin prochain. Au revoir et bonne journée à tous.
Goodbye.